Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IEN Spring Playoffs. We got a semifinals matchup here for you today. Before we get into all of that, Edu, how are we feeling today, my friend?
I'm feeling kind of tired. I had a really busy weekend. I'm going to have an even busier one next time. But getting into our game today, I'm very excited to see what kind of Valorant gameplay can be had here for the IEN network. And of course, looking at last week's games, some of them were close, some of them were not at all. We saw a lot of back and forth here, Hot Sauce. So I got to wonder, what can we anticipate here?
Well, Hobart Varsity is the #1 seed, and they were the #3 seed last year, but they 2-0'd everybody and took the championship back in April of last year. So they're the #1 seed this year. They're looking very strong. They haven't seemed to have dropped a game. Now, Norwell is the #5 seed. They did 2-0 their competition to get here. And they had I think their first game was 15-13, so it was pretty close, but their second game was 13-1 to solidify that place here today. So certainly a lot of talent there, but I think they're going to have a very tough battle against Hobart today.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of back and forth, to be honest with you. And now seeing, hopefully, a little bit of more rounds to be had. I don't want this to be a fast 2-0. I don't want this to be a 13-1. I mean, it never feels good to have that as a caster. I want to be able to talk about the teams and talk about what they can do and the analysts that brings it up. So I'm hopeful that they are going to be able to turn this around. But as we are going to be getting into our agent picks and bans relatively soon, I'm pretty excited to see map picks and bans that we're getting into. I'm really excited to see where we're actually going to be ending up here for our best of 3 today.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Norwell maybe tries to get back to Pearl. They played a close one on Split that ended up 15-13, but they 13-1 Tippecanoe in that first round of playoffs on Pearl. So I wouldn't be surprised if Norwell tries to get back to Pearl, but Hobart's been playing very well for the entirety of this season, and they won that championship last season. So I imagine they're pretty comfortable on most of the maps.
Yeah, I would imagine as well. But at the same time, you do have decent maps that can really just throw a wrench into the mix of here. Right now, we're not on the new picks and bans, the new map picks for like Icebox. We don't get those yet, not quite. But we are still looking at the older ones. Abyss is still something that no one wants to play, so usually that's a permaban. Split definitely is a good way to deal with a team that's very aggro, taking away their ability to go with a 5-man rush. Because if you do that on Split, it's a whole lot of choke points, and of course Fracture and Bind are another 2 maps that can really separate out these teams. So there's a lot of options for them to play their heart out and hopefully bring us the best kind of gameplay that they can offer. But at the end of the day, we're just gonna have to wait and see what is the game plan for them, as so far nobody's been locked in quite yet. But I gotta wonder, where would you like to go? I mean, what map have you either not casted recently or would like to go back to?
I'm always picking Bind and Split and things like that just because I enjoy them. But honestly, today I wouldn't mind seeing a Pearl again, or an Abyss, or even a Fracture. Just some maps that aren't typically played anymore. And obviously we know that at the Scholastic level there is a comfortability factor that often comes into play, but I think because those are some of the tougher maps to kind of navigate, especially for some of the younger players, if you're very good on that map, it could give you a little bit of an advantage against your opponents.
True. I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing some of these maps now. Finally, we see our first ban here coming out from Hobart on that Split. So getting rid of that, getting rid of Abyss. So the 2 maps that I would say give the most problems for a lot of players throughout the entirety of high rank, low rank. I'm liking what we're seeing here. It's nothing too crazy yet. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing more of this style of game plan. But so far, I think that Fracture getting banned, we're probably going to have something very basic here, like Bind, Haven, and Lotus, which is actually what we do have here. So Bind, Haven, and Lotus are the last maps remaining after the bans settle, after the smoke clears. So, what do you think about our final maps that we are now on?
I mean, Bind, I love. I grew up playing Raze since the inception, and I feel like she's very good on Bind. So Bind's always kind of had a little special place in my heart. Haven is a 3-site map, so it does make things a little bit interesting, sometimes favoring the attacking side, and the same goes to Lotus as well. So I'm happy with the map picks. Again, I would have liked to seen at least one of the three, Fracture, Abyss, or Pearl, just because it's something we don't see a ton of. But like you mentioned, and we kind of talked about, that comfortability comes into factor. Haven, Bind have been around forever as well, and so I think maybe that's what we're seeing a little bit of here today.
Alrighty, and looking at this, it is going to be Norwell starting on attack on Bind, and then afterwards Haven. Now, they are picking the order of operations right now. Here at the IEN, it's a little bit of a different style of picks and bans. So, I think that this is going to be very interesting. Haven, Lotus, both maps being a triple site location. Definitely going to allow for, if you are a team that likes to lurk, you have that option. So, more lurk, probably the better for them. But now we get into this game here. Gotta find out which one is first.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Hobart maybe did some research, because the first two maps they banned were the two maps that Norwell had just played and had success on. So maybe doing a little bit of their homework heading into this one. I know Hobart had first ban as well. It shows their pick was Lotus, and then Norwell was Haven. So I do believe Bind will be that third and final map if we happen to get there.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then Bind is the decider. Very interesting to see, overall the kind of mentality that people go onto that map. You see a lot of Yorus. Hopefully, we're going to see some of that. But at the end of the day, it is going to be up to these teams to really deliver us with this gameplay. So, Hot Sauce, I got to ask, when we get into here, is there any players we might want to keep an eye out for, or are we going in here dark?
We're going a little bit dark on this one. I know we casted the single A playoffs last week, so we are into double A playoffs this week. So we haven't got to see either of these teams on screen yet. At least I haven't. So unfortunately, I am going in a little bit blind myself. But honestly, that makes it a little bit more exciting sometimes, just to kind of be on the edge of my seat here and get to figure out who's going to be popping off within these first couple rounds.
Let's hope that pop-off is on the table for us, as we are already getting on into our game, and hopefully we are going to be seeing that solid insta-locks for a team that knows the kind of comp that they're bringing to the table here. Overall, I really like what we're seeing from the attack side. Tejo, definitely something bringing a lot of pain on the Lotus. Now, the problem I am seeing is the Gecko instead of the Breach. Tejo Breach is where you want to be, and that's actually, we actually see the defense leaning towards the Breach, but not the Tejo. So, overall, you look at this team, the biggest problem I see is that they're going to rely on a lot of really easy to dodge blinds with the Gecko and the Omen for attack. So getting onto site is going to be tough. They don't have a Sentinel that can really launch out. But then you look on over at defense, and because they have the Breach, they get a lot more flashbang. They get a lot of strong angles, and also Cypher. I think Cypher just gives you a little bit more for flank watch, a little bit more for post. Hopefully they can, give us some really solid gameplay. But overall, it's up to how these players actually deliver the game plan relative to, what the real strategies are.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of times why we don't maybe see those meta picks, or, like that Breach with the Tejo. It just kind of goes back to that comfortability thing that we were talking about. So these students wanting to play who they're most comfortable with. I do have to agree with you, though. I think I slightly favor the composition of Hobart overall here. But honestly, as they say, once that action starts popping off, paper has a tendency to go out the window. Norwell, though, technically the underdog, as they are seed number 5, taking on the number 1 seed here of Hobart and the returning champions from last year as well.
Ooh, that's a big title to have to walk up against. So looking at this, of course, you also have this being playoffs. We've seen the weeding out of the weaker teams. That's what the group stage is all about. So now that we see something tough, I will remind people, though, last week it was a playoff game as well, and that wasn't exactly close. So looking at this so far, you do have the defenders very aggro, already pushed up and wanting to fight people by mound. This is a great pincer maneuver if they're going to be able to find some picks, but instead it's actually the attackers returning with 2 down, and they're punished here. Now Seaside all alone, just going to be the Cypher, which no more trips thanks to a Raise nade.
That's where Raise can come in handy against the Cypher. If you know where those default positions are, you can often find a Dilly, though, and the Sheriff's going to find one. Teo gets a 2-piece as well, and even though Norwell is that underdog seed, they end this first round flawlessly without dropping a single member as well. So, I mean, a great start for them.
Yeah, real solid start. I mean, great shots from the Tejo. 3-0, and being able to get that many kills allows them to buy quite the scary weapon here, an Outlaw. All the body shots onto a saving team is not going to be too easy to actually get away from them now. So, I mean, I'm not hoping. I want these guys on the defense side to get 1 or 2 picks here. It's all about positioning, and they're already set up for a very solid A hold. And with a stun like that, unfortunately, the attack does read it, but they are going to buy some time. But no information has been gathered yet.
Yeah, not able to gather any of that information. Looks like they're still going to linger toward this A site. Gecko with that blind ready, as you mentioned, one of the easier blinds to kind of destroy if needed. But now they begin to linger a bit forward. Right now for Hobart, they're just showing great patience here as it looks like they have an idea that it's coming toward this A site here.
Yeah, and I think they're just playing it patiently. You know, they know that they can't really do much without the distance and allow the enemies to walk right up to you. You can get some nice classic right-click moments, and, you know, half of the team for defense or attack light armor, but that's going to be one no-scope down for Noodleman. Dilly is not dilly-dallying. He's headshotting, and that's going to be everybody on A executed. 1 on B to go, and Dilly looking for that final pick, and they get it flawlessly. The only damage dealt was from 1 classic bullet to the brain of a Raze.
Yeah, and I do apologize. I believe our team names are swapped up there because Dilly and Noodleman are all players of Hobart. So I do apologize for the technical issue. I believe those team names at the top are actually swapped, and it is Hobart that has come out with that strong 2-0 start. All
right, well, once we get that fixed, it should be all right. And yeah, a strong start indeed here, Hot Sauce. I'm looking at some hot gameplay with 0 and 2, no assists, no kills for this team. And you look on over, Hobart on the attack, gonna have to take a deep breath here and figure out what they can do with now rifles in hand. I mean, they've managed their economy fairly well up to this point, but a cage like that is walk-aroundable. I hope that defense is gonna be able to just give it a call, see what they can do, but Dilly, the lurk, might get punished here.
We'll see if they're able to punish him here. All players still standing at the moment. The Roomba, no intel as well. We see Breach and then beginning to linger toward Waterfall as well. Dilly will back off and maybe just look to hold this flank for the time being. Going to pop the turret to do so, but kind of hang around it as well. 3-2 split at the moment here for Norwell, as we did get those team names swapped around for you. Shots exchange. Mortifier finds one, but One Chart quick to trade that one back, and now we see Tejo on that Outlaw, able to finally get one there as well.
Clean. That's what you want to see from the Outlaw, especially here with the post plant not actually be setting up yet. Lutra getting a pick to level the playing field, now 3 versus 3. A-site, however, left a little bit behind, but look at this. The Tejo is going to swing on out and punished for the lurk. A-site now going to get executed upon, but we know the attackers not quite wanting to stick together, are now splitting up, searching for clues. One Chart will be using all of his util early, but Noodleman manages to break out the armor, but that's really all you got in that spot.
We saw Breach trying to apply some assistance there, but One Chart now all alone on the site. Does find one as a consolation, but Dark Red will be able to get the exchange here and find that defusal. So Norwell will get that full buy round, an important round for them to take here in the mix and not allow Hobart to get too far of the lead.
Alrighty, well, pretty solid. So with the teams now swapped over, now looking at Hobart not being able to keep up with that. We did see a little bit of an investment from them, but they should still be able to buy. Welcome to round 4. This is everybody's favorite, the first rifle round to really kick it off. But because of the damage dealt by the attackers, surprise, surprise, defense can't actually go for a full buy. Mortifier looking mortified with that economy. Not going to be able to pull out anything bigger than a Marshall here. No, he actually is going to get dropped by Red. Trying to go back and forth. 2 Stingers are going to be the final pick, but Argent forgot armor.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like this is a common problem. Sometimes we see teams struggling at this level to kind of eco together, to buy together, and already Dilly finding an early pick. Rusty looking for Mortifier. The paint shells might do some damage. Tejo eventually going to look to flush him out as Noodleman finds the pick, but he got one in that exchange. The player advantage right now favoring Hobart. It looks like they're going to continue to pressure toward A.
A-site not fully cleared by that bot, but majority of it. One right angle down allows for the plant to come through. Dark Red pushing on up with local. And one drop here, right on in, and does not find the pick onto the Tejo. Nearly had the timing there, but Dilly now stuck with a position to hold them back. Defense is 2 down, make it 1 player remaining, and Dilly will clean up this round. Hobart keeping it real with a pretty explosive buy round.
Yeah, I mean, only dropping a single player in that mix as well, and so they begin to put the economy of Norwell in a bit of a bind here, as we see. There are a few members that are able to buy, but because of them forcing in that previous round, it's a little scrappy for a couple members here. So honestly, I'd like to see them stay around that 1,800 to 2K mark to ensure that they can buy together in that following round. But I mean, Lutra has 4,400. They could certainly maybe, you know, work with some light armor and a sheriff, or maybe even a stinger there as well.
I like the lurk that we're seeing from this Killjoy. Definitely finding its value here. Now, I have mentioned I like the Cypher pick more, and it's because of how they can set up on this C site. And with the Tejo already popping an ultimate, they know that these players have to back up into Waterfall, but will they be able to just finish them off? Trapwire slowing things down. Arjun waits for his team, but surprise, surprise, a very fast rotate here for them, as they now are going to be able to get the bomb plant, but this defensive team has cut the distance and looking for some picks. And, ooh, Noodleman's actually going to answer to 1. Lutra executed by the lurk up Dilly. And Local, trying with the classic, gets 1.
Hey, in the right click we trust, and we'll find the Tejo. Rusty, though, quick to trade back. They've got the 2-player advantage here as well, and we see Mortifier here with that Marshall, looking to find something. Shot a bit low as one chart will pop the head of Mortifier. Now it's Arjun here just stuck in the smoke. There are some shots ringing out. He's going to jump in and look for one, but Rusty will find it, and Hobart will have a nice lead here to kick things off in this first half.
Real solid. Kicking things off. I do want to see more from the Cypher. I mean, 0 in 5, definitely not ideal, especially when you have all of your setup. We're not seeing a lot of follow-up. You know, if Local gets a pick with the Classic or does some damage, immediately following that, I need to see some mirroring that. You know, you got to make sure that if you do go down and your teammate gets at least 1, you finish off what he started here. And we're just not really getting that value quite yet, but that can change. Defense is going to be set up for a, you know, pretty basic hold onto A site, as one char trying to lurk around, but so far Norwell looking a little antsy. Wait a minute, an ultimate coming out is going to be able to grab 1.
We'll see if he can find the pick in that ult here. The paint shells will come out as well. The Roomba looking for a bit of intel. ISO was able to find that. Noodle was waiting, though, for them to come out of that ult, and we'll find that trade back and forth. Local just tucked in, waiting for that smoke to dissipate, as we see Tejo with that ult in there. Noodleman's going to find Mortifier, and again, they're working with this player advantage here.
Look at the flank. 2 players behind. Dilly, though. This is what a Sentinel should do. Have that flank watch, and we'll be able to spot out 1. Now just having to buy some time for their team. Rest of their team trying to get aggressive against Local. Spots out the breach. They know where these players are, but Dilly does not wait for their team to swing. Instead, swings on his own and gets taken out. Now it's a 3v3, and with Arjun getting on the board, looking to find some more. I mean, we have Local ready to flash out, but the bomb's ticking. They're running out of time here.
Time slowly ticking away. Noodle does spot 1. The spray's good, and that'll be a triple for them, as Rusty is able to find Local here as well. The final member tucked into tree has the judge, but won't be the jury or the verdict, as Noodleman will find the quadra, and with that, they'll go up 5-1.
Yeah, 5-1, pretty dang solid, but unfortunately for defense, not the best buys. Even with their, you know, little bit of a force last round, you still have players like Lutra being able to buy 2 players, honestly, but they're going to have to take a deep breath here, as I'm looking at a team, Hobart Varsity Valorant, that just likes holding that W key.
Yeah, I mean, it's been working for them throughout the regular season, the postseason. They started off with a bye, so this is technically their first game in postseason, but it seems like they haven't missed a stride along the way, just continuing to play the gameplay they love. Tejo's going to flush out Mortifier here, and that's going to allow Rusty to find a 2-piece. They continue to have a ton of success over here toward this A site as well, and there's really nobody here from Norwell now.
Yeah, not a lot of options left, as they're going to rotate through. If this Tejo just keeps his crosshair ready, this could be an absolute massacre with the Odin, but the flashbang a bit too strong, and he is going to get executed there. Dilly trying to now clean up where his teammate left off. Knows he's getting flanked, and this time redeems himself from the last round, and that's going to be a near flawless, sorry, hiccups, with only 1 player falling, and Attack, they're taking all these sites with no ultimate usage. They're just walking on for free.
Walking on for free. While we do have a moment here in between rounds, I want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. And again, thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring this broadcast to all of you, helping to showcase the amazing young talent here in Scholastic Esports. So be sure to get out there and tweet who you think's going to win today's game. And when you do that tweet, make sure you use hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag Zotac USA to show that appreciation when you post.
And here comes the next round. Now, we have gone past the first half of this first half. So let's see if we're going to see that comeback, because, you know, we saw 13 ones before. There's a chance that that continues here, as we do have some ultimates available. And pushing on C can all start with one Thrash, which they're not going to use it. They're just going to fly right on up.
Yeah, I guess the confidence is exuberating out here on the battlefield today. Dark Red, will find one, but it's Noodle now. Rusty, Dilly, and back to Noodle. Everybody getting a piece of the action, as Rusty will eventually get their 2K there as well. And I mean, Hobart again continuously putting up flawless or near flawless rounds. They only lose a member in that one. And Noodle Man 9-1, Dilly and Rusty Boy 9-2. Everybody seems to be popping off here for Hobart Varsity.
They know what they like. They know the kind of game plan that they're bringing out for us, and I enjoy this style of play. Now, I will say, you have 3 players with 9 kills here, and, you know, add up all of the rest. It seems like we're looking at a little bit of a gap, but if the defense can start utilizing those ultimates, maybe just one Thrash, one Aftershock or Rolling Thunder, and they pretty much have a sight hold. But, again, they're going to just start getting walked on by a lot of util and a lot of legs over towards A again.
I mean, Hobart tends to almost always go A, or they certainly start over here. So I'd like to see maybe a little bit more of a setup from Norwell. Dilly has been holding this flank almost every single round as well. So I'd like to see him maybe pay a little bit more attention to that as well. But Noodleman will pressure onto the side as we talk about it. They find that pick, and Wingman will look to drop down the spike here. They continue to have success over here at the A site.
Here we go. Argent. Ready to drop on in. Only has a Classic to work with, but don't rule it out. Classic right click can easily one-hit someone with 150 HP, full armor. Dilly still on that lurk. I think we're looking at what I believe is a Cloves saving over on B. It's not exactly ideal, so Argent's stuck here. More likely than not, has to die to the bomb, trying to not give away any more ult charge. But the thing is, you don't really have to worry about that. You just get yours, and that's what Argent does, taking out one, and here we go. They know the enemy already has that, but saving a judge, this definitely is a die to bomb moment for that, but depends on what they can do with it next round.
I have to agree. I believe Breach had a Vandal, so that's a great save, but typically you don't want to save that judge. I mean, they still have 5,500 in the bank as well, so it's not like they wouldn't be able to buy this round. So I would have liked to see them maybe just go ahead and see if they could find an exit frag or just drop to the bomb so that, like you said, you don't give Hobart any extra ult charges. But it's not like they need them. Hobart has 4 of 5 ults on deck, as does Norwell, though. So they still have an opportunity. They need to let that Thrasher rip sooner than later if they can. And unfortunately for them, the moment they begin to stack A, it looks like Hobart is looking to maybe push C here.
Yeah, well, Lutra does have that judge, so any lurk up is going to be punished. Unfortunately, it's the one round where Dilly is not lurking. Now, it is going to be up to the Cypher to slow them down. Does have the util, but Attack is just going to be popping an ultimate here to say, all right, you have to walk away from sight. This is a free C site. The post plant going to be down to them. But wait a minute, there is a lurk coming up, and oh, Noodle Man, the TP just so clean to get in that position. But that lurk gets executed by the judge that was saved.
Hey, Lutra said, well, I hear you talking up there in the booth, casters, but let me just stifle you a bit here with a nice judge shot. And so the save does come into play and ends up working out for the time being. Unfortunately, they are still down a player, and that spike is ticking away, and it doesn't look like they have a sense of urgency at the moment. It's almost like they are maybe considering saving here yet again.
Saves. A whole lot of those. And Rusty Boy, ooh, not going to be able to walk away from that. Is he going to get executed? Noodle Man on the flank to back up his team and distract them. Saves the raise here. Now with 2 players remaining, we still have yet to see Mortifier pop that Thrash, but he's just going to have to rely on his aim. But it's actually Lutra on a 3K road to an ace. But the bomb, it's pretty much guaranteed to blow.
Yeah, the bomb will go off here. We see Lutra maybe going back to save again. Hopefully they were able to pick up a rifle there as well and at least upgrade, and it does appear that they did. So at least able to hold on to a rifle. But I mean, at this point, it's 9-1. You really need, you know, at a minimum, you'd like to see at least that 9-3 curse heading into the other side of things there. And so I feel like because of that, you almost want to attempt to try here every single round at this point, because you don't have many left in the first half.
Yeah, gonna have to take it slow here in the last 2 rounds. You know, we have been looking at the attack. They get a lot of space very quickly, and if you're defense, you want to stop giving it up. So holding these tight corners, I mean, we did see the judge work, but now defense gets a full buy. Unfortunately, the util will scare these players back, and you talk about a fast sight, it is going to be an ult to slow them down slightly, but Dark Red clean with it, this time executing and taking out one, but immediately traded off as well. No one there to guard his body. Lutra will be there to avenge it, as they now have an ultimate in a fight. And that's going to be a very aggro. Somehow gets it and gets away. And somehow still, he killed all of them.
Oh my
Noodle
God.
Man. Wait, he just keeps going. It's just Mortifier here. And this Omen wants his ace.
Rusty says, you're not going to get it. But, I mean, Omen with a nasty 4K and even being concussed at one point during that as well. So, I mean, Noodle Man, 17-2. I'd love to know exactly where they're ranked, because it seems like they might have a little bit of a skill separation here from some of the others.
Yeah, Noodleman definitely, he's played this game before. You know, sometimes when we watch this high school leagues, you could see someone using the default crosshair, and definitely, no offense to some of the players, I get it. I have a collegiate event. Sometimes we just have to bring on someone to get our team and have fun playing. But some people don't play a lot of this game, even though they're on a team.
Well, at a bare minimum, just out here to have a good time and have some fun with some friends. So hopefully they're doing at least that here. They've had a bit of a struggle, though. Hobart, a talented team. I mean, they are the returning champions and really looking to showcase the skills here once more in this semifinal. A nice 10-1 lead, looking to close it out for 11-1 half here as well. And we do see that rotation coming in from Norwell here, but everybody's still standing out at the moment. These plants just go down with ease, though. It feels like there's not much to slow them down. And
Why is he
already finding a triple?
While he's stunned, too. He just does not care that someone stuns him. Now it's Lutra, the last player standing the clove here, and executed right through the smoke. The showstopper stops his spree. Noodle Man with his kills, Rusty Boy with theirs, and a game of 1-11 score lines. So, you know, when it was 1-6, I said that there could be a 13-1 on the board, and now there's only 1 on the board. 1-1 versus 1. I don't know. Lots of ones.
Lots of ones. Call upon the luck here, and obviously it starts one round at a time for Norwell. You'd like to see him take the pistol, and I mean, I've seen crazy comebacks. Usually they're closer to 10-2 or 9-3, but even at the pro level in some of these maps, you see some of these crazy comebacks just because maybe it is a little more attacking heavy. But I feel like Hobart's just playing together a little bit better. The rotations, everything, they seem to be a little bit more cohesive than Norwell does at the moment. But we'll see if they can maybe begin to turn things around here with the pistol round.
Good nade. Good aggression, and honestly, they fully have controlled space. That's a big note for them, is every single round they just take and take, but it's also about what they give up. They just walked away from B. Luckily, KJ is going to leave some util, so they know where this player is. Dilly ready to execute this, waiting for their Omen to give the signal. And wow, what a pick here from the Tejo. Looks like a trade's going to come out here for one chart. Rusty Boy ready to swing out as well. Util timing, Kobe with the bot and the shots. And here comes the flankers, who get executed by Dark Red. Oof, 1, 2. Whoa, Lee. Okay. Hit the aim labs mid-half.
Yeah, Dark Red really turning it up here in the opening round, and now they've given themselves a solid chance to win this round. Dilly finds that pick in the reload, though. Dark will swing out, find the triple, and Norwell will look to trudge back through the trenches.
Yeah, no 13-1 for us today. I mean, clean shots. Definitely a pistol round gambit here for this team. Now, the question is, do they return to sender? Are they going to be able to get a 1-11 scoreline and bring us to overtime? Or they could bring it back if they get a flawless half here. And they can actually just take the game all the way away. So it's not out yet if Dark Red keeps up that kind of gameplay.
I mean, everybody under 20 ping. Everybody on Hobart under 10 ping, really. So They must be living right next to the server here, but again, hopefully Norwell can kind of find their way back into this. Hobart was scrapping into this round just a bit, so if Norwell can win this round, they might be able to go on to win that important bye round here as well.
Lots of important rounds for them to try to prove themselves, and Ares being forced up here by the attack. And attack's actually going to just get on-site defense, wanting to get their pistols out. Oh, that spotted everybody, and Local somehow managing to get away. That's Rusty Boy with 3 kills, pistol only. Last player, Dilly, who unfortunately can't handle Lutra. Everybody's getting their multi-kills today, and that's going to be a pretty decent eco round for defense, but attack, very happy about the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge quadra for Lutra. I mean, the fact that Rusty got 3 with a classic is kind of a crazy feat on its own, but you know, Lutra with the 4K stepping up. It was Dark Red last round, Lutra this round. So as long as they can have a shining star from round to round, they should be okay here. But Lutra's sticking with, okay, I was going to say, please buy a weapon there. I hope they weren't sticking with the Ghost. They do opt to go with that Vandal. So we've got a full buy versus a full buy. And again, if Norwell finds a way to win this round, again, we see Hobart now at a bit of an economic disadvantage.
Yeah, economic disadvantage, but I mean, last round they were at the same amount and they got 3 kills with the classic. So let's see what they can actually do with these weapons, but they're gonna have to keep stalling these guys' defense. So clean with the player Dilly being able to really just hold their own here, and they execute even while blind, having that, you know, game sense, game knowledge to keep their crosshair right where it needs to be. And here comes the re-execute. The bomb's still stuck on this site. They have to just find the pick, and yep, that's spiked down. That is fully in their grasp.
Yeah, Rusty's going to find Dark here as well. One shark will pop the dome of Lutra and give them a free 6 feet dirt nap here. Arjun from below will also be taken out by Rusty, who will grab the showstopper for the next round. And with that 12-3, it'll be Hobart sitting at match point, looking to close out game number 1 in this best of 3.
Clean. Just so very clean. But I gotta wonder, are we going to be seeing them keep this game up? We have 3-12. Attack does have a bye round here. It's up to them if they want to be in this game. I mean, Lutra with that 4K, 1 away from their ultimate. Dark Red, 1 away from theirs. And on the attack with ISO, you could just completely strip a team of their main Sentinel here. Rusty Boy pushing on up, and the nade actually executes one. Lutra being good for a lurk up, and that's an ult available for a Clove.
Yeah, the paint shells. It was a nice blind by Gecko. Arjun wasn't able to see, so just kind of tucked into the wall there, and the paint shells collect them. But they do come away with a couple picks of their own. They have the player advantage. The showstopper isn't going to stop anything, and unfortunately, the Goop will find Rusty. Noodleman does get a pick of their own. Lurking here at mid, though, is Lutra, and that was Dilly last round, or last half that was lurking. So Lutra giving a bit of their own medicine, but Noodleman, who has been that shining star player here, now has an opportunity for a crazy clutch.
Ooh, Thresh. He's fast enough. He's not. Oh, and he hand delivers himself to this poor Gecko. Such a good attempt there, but at the end of the day, the ult will finally come out. I believe that's the first time I've actually seen Mortifier pop a Thrash.
I think I have to agree with you. I don't know if we saw it in the first half, and honestly, I know Noodleman was trying to be quiet there, but I think if he would have just ran, just went ahead and legged it, he might have made it in time. Just millimeters away, really. And then Thrasher coming in has to deal with the knife to the face. And so, I mean, we see some life being breathed into Norwell. My only worry is that Hobart has 8 opportunities to close this game out now. And so they have so many rounds to give. You have to believe that Hobart most likely is going to take at least 1 of the next 8 rounds.
Oh, Dark Red getting hit by this ultimate, and the shots now come out, and Dark Red, that is now every single chance that he's gotten, landing these ults perfectly. So, might be able to find more, and yeah, continues. This attack is on a little bit of a return to sender. I'm hoping that we're going to see more style from Dark, more style from this Clove, and Double Tap still available, so he's going to try to find his way out, but Double Tap does what it does, takes out anyone trying to use a Marshall for that quick, or sorry, Sheriff for the quick headshot. Attack now plants, defense now saves, or tries to. Dark Red wants to ace.
Dark Red wants to ace, and he's about to go head-to-head here with Dilly, who's tucked down below the spray, and it doesn't connect. It's Dilly with a classic. who will look to upgrade to a rifle here. Now on a 4v1, I'm kind of interested to see if Dilly is going to opt to go forward and look to find that defuse. With time ticking away, maybe just looking for an exit frag, but now at only 31 health, it's maybe something to just kind of hang back and save the rifle.
And unfortunately, Dilly just goes for the fight, wants to try to do as much damage to attack as possible. They know that they are up so many rounds that as long as they just take their time with their economy, they'll be able to buy. And if they keep hurting whatever's left of attack, eventually they can change it in their favor, and that could be the winning round. But this is a good spree here. I like the fact that we're seeing a little bit of a turnaround here for this team. And you know, as we were talking about in the green room, I'm thinking that this is going to be a little bit closer than last week by a pretty large margin.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's almost a mirror, right? We saw Norwell only win the third round on their defensive half, and so far that's the same for Hobart. So if Norwell can find a way to win out and push this into overtime, it would be wonderful. But again, I have a feeling that Hobart is going to be able to find at least one of these next 7 rounds here. But again, Norwell is playing very, very well together on the attacking side.
Nice. Rusty boy trying to find his timing. Dark red, very aggro, looking for more, and instead of clearing full sight, he's actually going to go up against this and grab another. Rusty boy not really confident in himself to turn that around, has to now back it up. And you look at Argent, who's getting executed. A little bit of a turnaround there, but the high ground. Dark red with another 3k. This wants to be an ace. This guy wants to get his, keeps it going, and looks for the player Dilly and finds it. Another 4k. Now just Rusty boy, who's finally left out. Nope, he's back in the stairwell, and he gets ulted. Dark red is not giving up his ace. He doesn't want anyone to steal it from him, and he just gets it himself. Dark red making everybody in awe of this comeback.
I mean, he had the quadra last round. He wanted that ace, and his team snatched it up. So he said, not this time. Gets that ace. And, I mean, has really been kind of the commanding general of this comeback. But the whole crew has certainly stepped it up here for Norwell as they cut that lead in half. And, again, Hobart now experiencing some of those economic troubles. So it looks like maybe a handful of sheriffs, a shorty in the mix, and a possible ghost here as well.
Yeah, not exactly the best, but it is a buy for next. So they are proving that they know their economy rounds, they know what to do. And I think the game plan here definitely comes down to just kill the ISO. Take him out, get him out of this game, stop letting him get near aces on you, and you'll have a much better time. But one short, backing it up. You have all defense, pistol only. Setting up on A, Lutra. Executed here. Now, oh, you can't get his gun anymore, but can you chase him and finish it off? Yes, you can. Cool. And that is going to be a Vandal now for the defense, and a top frag gone from the map.
It's a good start here for Hobart as they just need one round to clutch this up. So maybe Norwell beginning to feel a bit of that pressure. And if they could do it on this little thrifty style round, it could be huge for them. But Mortifier is going to find one chart. Rusty can't get up top. They heard the audio cue. Maybe they believe he's up there, but Mortifier, the run, the spray, it's good. And with that, Norwell beginning to inch back into the round.
Inching up. Local, though, getting a solid pick down. And it's just Dilly being able to execute one. And there's Dark Red just shutting it down again. I mean, at this point, you're actually losing a lot more rounds than you'd like. And this could be impacting the mental of the defense. But defense has been doing one thing in particular I really enjoy. And that's building up economy, both ultimate and weaponry. They have 4 ults against none. So this is a perfect round for them to end out the game if they just play smart. But they're playing better than smart. They're buying ops for each other. They're planning out what their strats are. An op, though, could be scary against an ISO. Completely shuts that down.
Yeah, that's the one nice thing about ISO, being able to maybe eat up that initial shot, and hopefully a teammate or you could find that pick instantly back. But again, for Hobart, I mean, they have so many ults to work with. They just have to play together. They just have to play smart, and they should be able to solidify a round off the back of at least 4 ults. Raze has spotted one with that op, not wanting to jump back out. His shots rain through the wall here as well. And that's a tough position to be in, as they are just throwing a hailstorm of bullets at Rusty.
Yeah. Ooh. Patience, not a virtue. Shot right through the smoke. And that's going to be a pick down here for Dark Red. Wait a minute. ISO gone. The turnaround online for them if they just take their time. Noodleman keeping it up. TPing over. Getting a pick down onto one. Cypher leaving 3 remaining, but the bomb still stuck over here by Rubble, still stuck waiting for a way for this team to get onto A.
Lutra will finally rotate around, was holding that flank there at mid, and we see the drone coming through as well, looking for a bit of intel, but not able to find anything just yet. One chart here tucked onto the site. Mortifier and crew begin to inch forward now. And it will be a 3v4 again. 4 ults here for Hobart, so I'm surprised we haven't seen him pop out yet.
Oh, good movement. Manages to keep himself up, and he'll re-swing with that regen armor, so he's definitely not as easy to kill. But wait, Lutra not being able to finish him off. Gets hit from behind. And here's the counter thrash, but with 11 seconds after plant, and defense has popped an ultimate. The game has to end right here. They have to get the wingman on the bomb, but you're out of time. We lose to time, and we lose to ultimates, throwing everything around. They stacked him up, and they shut him down, and that's going to be Hobart Varsity Valorant taking map number 1 of Lotus.
13-7, your final score. Honestly, though, if you're Norwell, you have to be happy with how well you fought back in, especially after an 11-1 half. I mean, that's a really tough feat to come back from. So hopefully they can work off of that momentum in that second half, and hopefully that spills over into game number 2 a little bit. But Hobart certainly looked extremely dangerous on the attacking side.
Yeah, extremely dangerous, and that's the kind of game plan I want to see from them. But as we are continuing our streak of games going, I gotta say, not exactly too far off from being able to come to make a comeback here. So I'm thinking maybe we're not going to be seeing a 2-0. Maybe we're going to be seeing a much closer back and forth game, as our next map up is going to be Haven here with a bind decider. But before we let you go, make sure that if you are a competitor or just interested in esports in general, you go check out the League OS portal, LOS portal. If you want to play esports in college, you can find scholarships through that portal. You can find matches, you can find events and venues, and you can even find where you might be playing someday. So make sure to check out your opportunity to check LOS portal. If you want to check it out, go to portal.leagueos.gg to find out more information on how you could be competing in a league just like IEN at a higher and higher level. But with that being said, we are going to send it to a short break. When we get back, it's going to be Haven. I forgot if we send break or if we go next while talking.
I don't remember it either. I think we've done one of each, to be honest. All right, we are back here at the agent select screen for map number 2. It is on a Haven. And with that, again, another 3-site map. This time, Norwell gets to start out on the attacking side, though. And so both of these teams seem to do a little bit better on the attacking side, especially when there is a 3-site map. So something similar here. And with Norwell starting out on the attacking side this time, if they can give Hobart a little taste of their own medicine, it should make that second half a little bit easier. But as we always say, it's easier said than done when we're sitting up here in the booth.
Yeah, we get a little nice peanut gallery for us, but we're jumping right on into our matchup here. We're jumping into a quick lock-in and ready up, as we do see the same exact roles being picked here by Hobart Varsity. Norwell, on the other hand, is going to be shifting things around. Dark Red was on ISO, now on Chamber. Argent was on Sentinel, now on Controller. Now you also have Lutra and Local. Lutra staying the same, Mortifier staying the same, Local going from a Breach to a Duelist. Pretty interesting pickup. Let's hope that it's enough changes for this team to really showcase what they can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see a ton of Chamber anymore. There's, they've made some adjustments and tried to work him back in a bit, but I feel like he's just not as viable as a lot of the other agents. With that being said, I certainly love Chamber, so I like the fact that we do get to see them here in action as well. But yeah, kind of a few interesting swaps in compositions here as well. But again, Norwell starting out on the attacking side. It's going to be up to them to kind of put on that early dominating performance, much like Hobart did, because I feel like Hobart's going to be just as strong here on the attacking side as well.
Looks like this is going to be a B and A default. Very common at the start of the game, but Pixel Perfect Rusty Boy trying to do some damage and actually gets a collateral. And look at that cleanup. Dark Red being able to grab some picks and trades, but with this breach now being able to pick off one, Norwell still looking for their opening. Hasn't made any space since the start of this round. Yeah, Lutra's pushed up against Garage, but that's a given. And it will be a B execute here with a little bit of util.
Yeah, we see Breach here just lurking in the smoke for the time being. Mortifier and everybody waiting patiently on the outside for that to begin to dissipate here. Do you believe Breach maybe spotted one? Yeah, he's going to look to flush him out of the corner as well. The blind does connect, though, and that'll buy them a little bit of time. But Hobart still has the player advantage for the time being. Wingman will immediately be chopped down. And for Norwell, I feel like they need to rotate off somewhere because Hobart has already transitioned toward this B site.
Noodle Man still waiting for one of these players to push up. No space made. No picks outside of damage taken. And here comes the execute, but immediately punished with the flash, punished with the shots. And with 20 seconds left, the best bet is you run it to C, but that's where Dilly is. But they're still committing to B. They're still committing to the fight. And there's another pick here. Noodle Man able to grab the Mortifier. Lutra gone. And a flawless round, although slow, does come in the favor of Hobart Varsity.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like Norwell just needed to rotate out a little bit sooner. I feel like the B site is one of the tougher sites, just because even if you do get that plan, it's kind of easier to retake that site as well. And once they realize that all of Hobart have really rotated over there, had control of Garage, it's a little better to try and back off, maybe look for a different route. But wasn't the case in this one. They'll have to pick up the scraps here in round number 2, as it will be a near full eco. Dark Red opting to go with light armor, though, and that's going to affect that buy in the following round.
Yeah, not exactly easy to go into it, but it might not if they get some picks. Rusty Boy, though, starting with a great pick on a Mortifier. Sheriff in hand might find some more. Argent, still low from that intercorrection, takes a shock dart down to 17 HP. The Marshal being able to do 1 damage to take out 1. Dark Red gone. It's time for this breach to back up.
Back up a bit here and play things out patiently. It's Hobart again with that player advantage. A couple players on either team pretty low on health. Rusty being patient here. Shot from the Sheriff doesn't connect. Noodle will find not 1, but 2 with a Marshal here as well. And now they spotted that last member who doesn't have much health. The no-scope will come in, and another triple here for Noodle Man.
Wow, another triple down for Noodle Man. The multi-kills definitely coming out every single round here. We're seeing one person be good for 3, which I love. But I also like the pickup here. Dark Red going for the Outlaw. Against 3 of these players, it's a one-hit wonder. Against 2 of them, they have an Op and a Vandal, so that could slow them down. It really does come up to the play style of them. Comes up to how they are going to battle this out. But let's hope we're going to be seeing some decent picks with that Jet Op over in C.
I mean, Hobart's just done a great job of guessing correctly. We saw him stacking toward the A site last round. Now over here with the Op on the C side, and Rusty going to find an early pick as well. And the fact that they're still considering pushing up against this Op down the long hallway could be very, very tough for them, especially without being able to smoke off that lane themselves. So unfortunately for Norwell, it seems like once they decide to go somewhere, they don't rotate off too much, and Breach is going to find a pick here on Argent.
Ooh, Dilly nearly baited out. Look at that, gets a body shot down, and now the Jet knows you just have to fight for it. Are you going to be able to cross? Yeah, you are. Great dash, but bomb unfortunately stuck in Cubby. Last player standing in a 1v5. Local. Rifle versus rifle, having to hold this up and getting flanked at the same time, and will be able to be good for 1 shot here, but the wall bang from Noodle Man executes it, and defense takes it. No bonus round, or sorry, yes, a bonus round, but no money left for attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, that full buy really didn't work out in their favor, and they've kind of been scrapping into some rounds as well. At least here we see them trying to stay around that 2K mark to ensure that buy in the following round. But unfortunately for them, they're going up against a full set of rifles and that Op still in the hands of Rusty Boy. And again, because Rusty was at C with that Op, has decided to go toward the A site this time. And unfortunately for Norwell, they might be running right into a firing squad.
Yeah, ooh. Good smokes, though. Early smokes, good aggression, slows things down. Rusty Boy, because of them, will now have to back it up and find a new angle for that op. But already the rotates onto A. A is well guarded. Noodleman ready to blind. If any execute starts coming through, this breach play, very aggro, but might find its value.
Yeah, and again, I mean, Hobart's so quick to rotate every time because Norwell never kind of rotates off of a site once they start deciding to go there. We're going to see Breach, Noodleman, Rusty, and now Breach again, all finding picks in a matter of moments. And just like that, the round over as quickly as it began. A flawless one as well. And for Norwell, I'd almost like to see him rush somewhere and then immediately rotate off, because it seems like Hobart is on to this where they, you know, once they decide to go to the site, they really just don't change their mind.
Yeah, not change your mind. It's a pretty solid idea here, as when you have full commit, just everything goes in your favor the second you turn a corner, you're not going to really need a second guess yourself. But as we are getting into our next round, we do have the attack picking up some Odins here for Mortifier. Hopefully that's going to put him on the board, currently 0-4. But everybody else needs to take their time, find some openings, as B is getting pushed quite fast.
Yeah, I'm just worried a little bit because Hobart did so well on the attacking side on the last game, but now doing extremely well here on the defensive side as well, as Noodleman again continues to have a field day. We'll get caught in front of that Odin and eventually drop down. Here's Lutra. We'll find a pick of their own and we'll be right back to a 3v3.
Yeah, 3v3. Flank is going to be watched by Local, but that's going to be Luford down. This Odin needing to get around that corner. Unfortunately, slow to peak, slow to rev up. There's an execution, 2v2, and they almost line up for Local, but Local is gone, and Rusty Boy will be able to get that pickup so beautifully. Now 5-0, it is going to be time for hopefully another eco round.
Yeah, I mean, again, we want to see him stay around that 1,800 to 2K mark, depending on the agent. Some utility a little more expensive than others, and so at least we are seeing that at a minimum. They are going to scrap in just a little bit, but they'll still be around that level of money to be able to buy in that following round. But again, I mean, on paper, this is another round that should go in Hobart's favor, and just being up 6-0 to start is absolutely huge for any team.
Ooh, Rusty Boy op ready. But you look at this attack side, they're completely split up, and Noodleman already got the first blood. Dark Red taken out right of mid. So beautiful. And there's Rusty Boy taking out Argid. Argid now down, and ooh, knife nearly whizzing past the ears of this breach. They're set up for another one, as the knife will not find its mark, and the final one resets it. They're back on. Local clean pick like that might be able to set this attack side to take a site, but nope, they just lost Spike.
Yeah, Spike down in a funky spot now as well, and so that's going to make things even more difficult. Jet still has the blades to work with, as you said, able to hit that final knife and get that reset here as well, but Dilly has been a menace with the crosshair placement today. And speaking of menaces, there's Noodle on a triple kill already. It's up to Clove, the lone member with a ghost tucked in window here, and Dilly will find the headshot. Another great round here for Hobart, as they only drop a single member in this one as well.
Oof, so very clean. Now, you know, talk about players getting dropped. Let's talk about who isn't. Rusty Boy has yet to die. We are now 6 rounds completed on our 7th, and Rusty Boy 7-0 right here with this op. It's definitely going to be a big pursuant onto C site. If you ever want to try to take it, you have to shut down Rusty, and so far, not exactly easy.
I thought we were going to have that double op set up, but Breach sells it at the last moment there. So just the one op still in the hands of Rusty Boy. I think Noodleman was 11-1 as well. The whole crew here for Hobart popping off once again in that first half. They had a little trouble in the second half in the previous game, but were able to solidify that dub. And with a dub here, they'll be able to advance into that grand finals as well.
One chart around that corner. Being able to spot out one, but the crosshair discipline able to get 2. Huge from that. Now just one left, and this drone will be guaranteed to spot her. And that's the execute.
Well, you know, we might have cursed Rusty a little bit. It looks like they finally get their first death on the board. But nonetheless, I mean, 7-0, a great start. Whether you have a death or not, you have to be thrilled with how well your team is playing here in this semifinal for the IEN spring playoffs. And again, just needing one more map to close it out. They're off to a great start here, 7-0. You take a look at the economy for Norwell, and again, it's in kind of a tough spot for them.
Yeah, definitely tough spot. And, you know, economy-wise, not the best for weapons, but they do have some ultimates. They got 4 on the board, which one good Thrash, one solid TP, that can give you a whole lot of space, because space creation has been really missing out here. But, ooh, local nearly blitzing Dilly with that stinger. Will get executed down anyways, and here comes a push-up. TP's right behind. Hello, turn around. Oh, Dilly saves your teammate. Rusty Boy gets a pick anyways. And that's Dark Red being able to be good for 2. Now has to be good for another ace. He's gotten 1 this match. Can he do it again?
Let's see if he can find another ace. Dark Red, no, he gets the triple, but it's one chart to answer back. And another team ace here for Hobart as they continue this flawless run. Now 8-0 here on the first half. And again, they've got 4 of 5 alts to work with, and Dilly just 2 off as well. On the other side of things, Norwell has 3 alts to work with, but it seems like, at least in the last game, they were holding on to those a bit too long. So I would like to see those come out sooner than later.
Yeah, I agree. We need to see some ultimates. We see better util usage overall. But with it being 8-0, we only have so many rounds where they can even pop an ult. Just every single time, you got to use it. Dark Red popping theirs might be able to start building up an economy for their team again if they can find some value out of it. We do have Dilly locking down the C site here in the footsteps, popping all of this util, and that's going to be 1. Good trade up here. The Dilly is down. Buys time for their team to try to get into position for a retake, but look at that garage. It is very stuffy, and that's going to be Arjun. Ooh, not able to execute, and the flank is starting to pincer. Unfortunately for attack, they are stuck on this site. Good TP, but ooh, right on into his util. What a breach play.
Yeah, I mean, Hobart's just looking really good here in this second map. They continue this flawless run. They do it without needing to expend any of their ultimates as well. And so, I mean, they're the #1 seed for the reason. They're the returning champs for a reason, and they're certainly showcasing the talent here again. Now, we had, I think it was Noodleman and Rusty Boy up top. Last time we see it's the Breach this time. So just going to show that really anybody on this squad could pop off at any given moment.
Let's hope that they can, though. Dark Red, not on the ISO, kind of loses a lot of value, in my opinion. I think his ISO gameplay, just the shield alone saved him from so many anticipated headshots here from Hobart Varsity. But now on Chamber, he is free to shoot in the face. And look at that. He gets freely shot in the face. Noodleman executing.
Yeah, I mean, Hobart time and time again finding these initial picks, giving themselves the player advantage. Now, Noodleman will be taken out early here by Arjun, so maybe an opportunity here for Norwell to look to put a round on the board and begin to pad off of that as we will see some nice shots from Breach. From behind, the flank is good for 3, the triple, and Hobart continues to dissect the competition here as Dilly will find the final one, 10-0 your score at the moment.
Ooh. Yeah, 10-0. You know, last time this was a 11-1 score line. There's a chance that they learned from the 2 mistakes they made in that. Actually, the 1 mistake that they made in that first half. So, getting into this one, they've shut down Dark Red early in these rounds. He's now from being the first blood getter to the giver. Now we do have hopeful. Another split attack towards C. You have some players by garage and mid, some going down long, and they do have to worry about Rusty Boy's op still.
Oh my, and worry they shall, because Dark Red immediately gets eliminated. Noodle finds a kill in a split second afterwards as well. And again, right back to a 5v3. It's always Hobart that has the favored numbers here, and how quick they are to flank as well. But Lutra might have an opportunity to just sneak in on behind him.
Yeah, they rotate quick, they pincer well, but actually I think they gave up their spot. But no, Mortifier, knife out, there goes Bomb. They're not in control anymore. Lutra only with the Ghost. You have your teammate right around you. Are they going to get the timing to swing on this? No, they're still anticipating these players are long, but turn around. That's going to be some picks. Lutra getting one. Local getting another. The dash somehow getting stuck, but not getting enough. One chart having to hold his own.
Yeah, spotted with that dart there. We see Lutra in a bit of trouble here is Noodle Man again. Just great decision making here from Hobart. I mean, they very rarely seem to make those minor mistakes that people are able to capitalize and gonna go ahead and pop the Hunter's Fury. And see, that's what we want to see from Norwell, right? We see Hobart using these ults at free will. And again, it's been a while since we've seen that Thrasher. It's something that really could kind of let the team follow behind when you're taking control of a site, maybe get an early pick off the back of a Thrasher as well, and then pressure on whether, you know, it's B or something like that, and then you could potentially pick up that Thrasher and use it again. So I'd love to see Gecko pop that Thrasher here. I mean, it's the final round of the first half. You can't take those ultimates into the next half.
True, you can't. And some people might just forget about it or not think that it's the right time to use it. But trust me, it's always the right time to throw out our favorite Gecko ult. And here comes an ult, but it's from the defense who manages to get one. But look at that, 180 and a pick. And there's Rusty Boy executing with the knives out and finding another 4K for us. Defense blitzes through. You know, you wanted to see some ultimates here from the attack. They didn't even get it.
They didn't have much time. I mean, Rusty was dashing in there. They were 180ing, finding all kinds of picks with the knives, and in that moment of trouble, had a teammate there to find that fifth pick for them. So Hobart's just playing very, very well together. It looks like they came with a game plan. They seem to be executing it near flawlessly, and now they're looking at a flawless game as well. One more round here in the pistol round to close it out, 13-0. It was Dark Red. It was kind of that shining knight in armor when they switched halves last time that started off with a crazy pistol round for them. So we'll see if they could work that magic. I mean, they have the chamber, potentially could use that headhunter there as well, and so I mean, it's gonna come down to this round, but again, even if they win it, you have to feel like Hobart's gonna win one of those next 12 rounds.
Ooh, and again, it's not the first blood haver, it's the first blood giver. Dark Red now down. You have Lutra trying to get one, but can't execute it. Dilly now looking for their pick. Spots the corner, and local decent lurk with Mortifier, but the bomb is unfortunately already planted, and yeah, that's how the game ends. A swift kick to the face with some solid right clicks. But that's a 13-0 from a 13-7.
Yeah, Gecko unfortunately had that short. He was hoping to swap out those weapons, but just caught in an awkward position. And 13-7, the first one, it started off a bit sketchy, but we saw Norwell bring it back very nicely. I mean, they fought through the trenches to get there. Unfortunately, in that second game, it was all Hobart. I mean, 13 rounds in a row. It didn't look like anything was going to stop them. You talked about Rusty Boy not even having a death for quite some time that well as well. So, again, hats off to the former champions as they will advance on to that grand finals, I believe, happening on April 26th.
Awesome. I mean, it's a good day for that team, but a GG across the board. And honestly, this playoffs, this bracket, this season, slowly approaching its end as we have less and less matches to cast over. I think we're now beyond the halfway mark. We're looking at the final streak here. So, you know, honestly, it's been an honor to cast with you yet again here, Hot Sauce. I'm hopeful that we're going to be hopefully on the mic again for these grand finals to see Hobart continue their power domination or maybe get dethroned by another team that we're going to be seeing in these next following weeks. And if you guys want to follow up these weeks, make sure to drop a follow here at the IEN Esports Network. I believe we're on Indiana Esports on Twitch. Make sure you can check out the YouTube with our descriptions, links, and all of that. But thanks again to Landfest for providing the production as well as building healthy communities throughout gaming with 23 chapters across 18 states and over 150 events per year. If you want to find a local Landfest event to see, you know, what Landfest does besides IEN, check out landfest.com. But Hot Sauce, any final statements for us?
No, just thanks to everybody behind the scenes, from Taylor to Connie to Jaden, again, for always producing and observing such a wonderful show, and for Indiana Esports Network for allowing us to come in here and shout at the mics. It's always a pleasure to work with you as well, Edu, and I believe they'll be playing maybe some replays of the game as we close out here today. But again, we just thank everybody in chat for hanging out with us. That legend to my digital right is Edu. My name is Hot Sauce. You guys have been absolutely amazing. We hope you stick around for the replays, and obviously we hope you have a wonderful evening as well. Take care.
Ultimate is ready. One enemy remaining. remaining. One enemy remaining.
Turret down. Variable.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
Last player standing.
It's you and me! Right there.
One enemy remaining.
Gun here.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Deploying drone.